Okay, so this is the Silver Bullet Day, and this is the beginning of the Oaks Trail for many, and it's an ungraded stakes at 150,000. It's the 10th race on the Fairgrounds Saturday card. It's running 1 mile and 70 yards for 3-year-old fillies, and we'll take a look at the field. And you can see from the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies, we have Accommodate Eva. Miss Code West is import from Remington Park. I've been running against Oklahoma breds mostly. West Omaha is one that ran in the Untappable, as well as Sistina Chapel, and they're probably the most prominent of the local runners, I would say. And then we've got Perfect Shot, who just broke the maiden, and Asmussen trainee. And I would say that those are the most prominent contenders in here. The others are pretty much rounding out the field for the most part, but we'll get to them. We'll take a look at them individually, and again, the way we do it, breaking them up by running style: E, EP, P, and S. E, early pace. EP, kind of a pace presser, can go to the lead if necessary. Then P is a pace presser, usually stalk, mid-pack to 2 or 3 lengths back. And then S is our sustained pace runner or a closer, and they're going to be coming from the clouds or from behind. Looking at them, Miss Code West is, to me, an underlay for one reason. Really hasn't run against much. Has been running at Remington Park. Hasn't done anything wrong. The last race against Open Company was a career high and did it on the front end. But take a look at those fractions. If you use Brisnet, if you look at the pace numbers, they were pretty slow, which tells me that this one, she had her own way all the way around the track, all the way through the races. She really hasn't been tested yet. She's certainly got quality, and there isn't a whole lot of speed burners in this race. But I just wonder, I never like horses stepping up in class when they really haven't faced a whole lot. And for that reason, Miss Code West, while being a pretty good horse, and in this field isn't bad, I just have a feeling isn't going to measure up when it comes late. Play Good, Pay Good has one thing going for, and that's Rob Atras trains. He is absolutely lightning red hot right now. He's at 67% at Fairgrounds. However, this one just ran in a maiden claimer and is now into a stakes race. Did run a good race, but I wasn't blown away by it. And this would be a step up for a first route, first-time stakes. Rob Atras is pretty good with first-time routes for 3-year-olds, but in this field, it can maybe hang around for a slice late. I mean, it's not from top to bottom. It's not a high-class field, but I think Atras would have to go to the medicine cabinet for this one to be prominent and have a chance in this race. And sorry, but that's your reputation precedes you, Rob. So Play Good, Pay Good. Be a pace presence more than anything else. I think it's probably going to serve to soften up Miss Code West a bit, but don't think will factor in the race. Perfect Shot is trained by Steve Asmussen, and he's got Joel Rosario in the irons, so I think he means business. This one is improving steadily, which is always the pattern you want to see. I like the fractions in the last race. I like the way this one is moving. And, she pretty much got a better Brisnet figure than Miss Code West did in her last race. So that to me, this one trending upward with the style running just off the pace, which I think is a good place to be in this race. I think Perfect Shot makes a lot of sense and should be a prime win candidate with a move forward, and I think that's highly possible. Maray's Girl just isn't good enough. That's the bottom line to it. I just hasn't posted a speed figure that's commensurate with any of the better horses in here, and even with a move forward, I just don't think it's good enough. So we'll be up near the leaders, but we'll be fading late. Now, we come to the ones that are rather interesting. West Omaha is listed as a closer on Brisnet, but I think is more of a stalker. Ran in the untappable last time off the pace, not too far off of it, about mid-pack. Had a wide trip all the way around the track, so there's a little bit of an excuse, but it is a bit troubling that a 2-to-1 favorite in this race could not close and get to Alpine Princess. Granted, there wasn't much pace in the race, and Alpine Princess got off to an easy lead and isn't a bad horse. But I just found it a little troubling that West Omaha just couldn't close any ground. In this race, it's a softer field, probably a better chance to win. And I think it'll likely be a little more forwardly placed than perhaps last time. And she can run that way. I'm not worried about that. Being a Brad Cox trainee, it's very likely that this horse will be competitive in here. It is certainly a win candidate. I'm just not totally sold because that untappable just wasn't an eye catcher. And so, but in this field, very logical. No Risk It, No Biscuit is a quandary to me. Ran at Delta Downs last time in a bull ring track, 2 turns at 7 furlongs. And so I think we can probably come up with an excuse that it's a small track. Maybe on a bigger one, this one is a little better. What's troubling to me is in order to break the maiden, this one, the race rating continued to drop every single time while No Risk It, No Biscuit's class rating increased. So it tells me they needed softer fields for this one to break the maiden. So that's a very troubling statistic. But in this race, being Tom Amos and his affinity for the fairgrounds, I just have a feeling that this one's probably going to run a little better than I anticipate. And so I think you can maybe throw this one in on the bottom of the exotics. I don't think is a win candidate. Hasn't run a top end number to tell me that she can be a real win candidate unless there's some kind of pace meltdown or some kind of crazy scenario. And I don't see that happening here. But I think No Risk It, No Biscuit at 15-1. You certainly want to have some value on the bottom of the try. I think is very possible. Accommodate Eva won her last race, but did so in a sprint, closing in a sprint against Statebreds. And the thing that's most troubling to me is being by Munnings. I think 2 turns is not really what this horse is going to want. And I think that was proven out in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Granted, the class was a hell of a lot higher than it is here. That's true. But it just looks to me like from the running lines that this one really doesn't want 2 turns. And, they wound her way up in a sprint last time to get the win. I don't know that that's going to translate to 2 turns with this one. However, they may take this one back and make one run at it and maybe can sneak up on the bottom of the try. But I just don't like this horse in this spot at all, really. Sistina Chapel is kind of a use by default. She's not a bad horse, but, that untappable had the rail, saved all the ground, was on the left lead in the stretch, and ran what I consider to be a pretty bad third in what was not a great field either. Now, it was an improvement, and Kenny McPeaks do get better, so there is that. But you can't like a horse that saved all the ground and still couldn't do any more better than third in that field. So I think, West Omaha, certainly of the 2, ran a better untappable, being wide and stalking all the way around. For that, I like West Omaha a little better in this race. But Sistina Chapel has run speed figures that would put her in the mix here. I just don't really like her to win after seeing that untappable. So if we look at our wagering strategy, there isn't really very much in this race. I would use this one more in sequence betting than anything else. But if we're going to entertain it, I think Perfect Shot is very logical for a couple of reasons. Number one, going to be up near the pace, will be in good position and have first jump. and is on an upward swing, and with Joel Rosario in the irons, I think that's a pretty good sign. So I would go win place 4-1 or better if you can get those odds. May not be likely, but I would keep Perfect Shot as being the best value in this race based upon an upward progression and really more than anything else, the disappointment of the untappable for West Omaha and Sistina Chapel. I consider West Omaha to be the logical second win choice, so I would key box with Sistina Chapel. And again, Sistina Chapel in there just because kind of for the speed figures and the late running. So we would go key 1 with 6-8, key box, and then we would box again, Perfect Shot and West Omaha. That way, if we do get Perfect Shot home, we double up. And then, you know, if you want to go for a try, I'm not really keen on it in this race, but I could see, you know, if you want to try to get an ROI, I would key Perfect Shot on top, first and second, and then we'd use West Omaha and Sistina Chapel in second, and then throw in No Risk It, No Biscuit for the value. I think this one will be off the pace. And just, again, a little bit of a hunch. Tom Amoss at Fairgrounds, I think he'll be running late, and I think we'll give a premium effort. Probably not good enough, but certainly capable of getting underneath, and that would increase the ROI for the trifecta.